All right, hello and big welcome to you. It's Doyle Buehler here, author of the digital strategy bestselling book Breakthrough and founder of the League of Extraordinary Entrepreneurs and Founders and the Strategy Academy as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this short strategy sprint video. Today we're going to be talking about creating your own roadmap strategy model in your market industry and how you can define and build yours to help you create your resilient performance strategy for your business. And I'm also going to be showing you how you can make it into a real 3D model to show you a new perspective on how your business all fits together. If you'd like a copy of, I'm going to be going through these worksheets as well. So if you'd like a copy of the strategy roadmap worksheets to help you build your own roadmap, please just write strategy roadmap in the comments below and I'll get that out to you. It's a PDF copy with all of the steps that we're going to be going through today as well. So in today's presentation, really what I wanted to quickly talk about, it's a strategy sprint, so it's only a couple minutes, around 10 minutes or so. So hopefully I can get through everything fairly quickly. It's just to give you a broad idea of what's important, what's critical, and what you can act upon right now, right today, kind of thing to put these roadmaps together as well. So a lot of times what I'm seeing is there's a lot of frustrations in terms of not sure how to start a strategy, not sure what a strategy should even look like. And strategies don't always seem to work and seem too complicated to implement as well. And if you've used the business model canvas, but lost in a drawer somewhere, sometimes they kind of disappear as well. Your strategy soon gets forgotten. It's put in a pile of papers, and next thing you know, it's like 6 months later, and you're not actually using it as well. So the key here is to develop a strategy that you look at every single day, and you're able to do that with the strategy model, the 3D strategy model as well. So it's one of the things that's really important, and making sure that strategy is front of mind, not back of mind and forgotten as well over time. So what we really want to do is we want a simple strategy solution to build a foundation. Fundamentally, that's what this is about, is how do we make strategy simple? We don't want it to get in the way of what we're doing. All right, we want to run our business. We want to be able to do things quickly and effectively and operationally and that sort of thing. So we don't want a strategy that's kind of going to sit on a shelf and going to kind of take away from the time of working with the business as well. We want to see something that adds immediate value to see the impact to the business as well. And we want to help you keep track of working in your business versus working on your business. There is a huge distinction. And if you can have tools and strategies and capabilities right at your fingertips to be able to see how you're doing and understand where you need to go next or what you need to do next as well, that gives you a huge understanding in terms of being able to separate the in and the on of the business as well. And finally, we want to build a roadmap that you can show off to your team, your clients for buy-in and for execution as well. So this is something that gives you that specific piece as well. So we want to create the roadmap that allows you to create those strategic foundations for your business that you can always look at and you can always develop over time as well. So let's jump right into it and talk about the top four strategy roadmap secrets, right? What we want to really look at is the steps that are going to get us there. So fundamentally, what is it about the strategy roadmap? How are we going to put it in place, and why is it important as well? And how are we going to do this also? So we need to make sure that we understand what exactly this is and how we're going to put it together as well. So what I also call this is a growth pathway strategy, and it comes down to building basically a business GPS to understand what it is that we need, how we can actually put these pieces together, and what's really important as well. So if you think of it as a GPS as well, you don't necessarily use a GPS all the time, right? What you might do is start when you want to go to a different destination is you'll plug it in and you'll decide, hey, I want to go here. So you'll put it in and away you go, and it'll kind of bring you to that destination. As you get more and more familiar with this route, with the how, with the why, with the what that you're doing, you don't really need to plug it in every single time, because you'll have those you'll be building that intuitive base of understanding of what you need to do and when and what, right? So it's a matter of getting started with the business GPS, with the growth pathway strategy, putting the plan in place. It gives you the roadmap so that you can then move forward, and you then start to build that intuition that says, this is what I need to be doing. This is the priority. this is how I can move forward with the business. And that leads us into kind of the whole concept of what are we doing with our business, metaphorically speaking, but are we on a safari or are we on an expedition? And fundamentally, there is a huge difference, right? A safari comes down to basically observing and seeing, and we're just kind of following the path, and we're following I'm not sure what the name would be for the person who guides you on a safari guide. Yeah, let's go with that. But we basically follow along the safari guide, and he brings us through the jungle or the Great Plains or whatever the case may be, and shows us things, and we can watch and we can see and that sort of thing. Then the other side of the coin is the expedition, right? This really fundamentally comes down to the discovery and doing. So this is where we set up teams of people, we set up specific goals, specific objectives. This is how we've accomplished some of the greatest things ever that humankind has created, right? What's created a bigger impact, than the moon landing and the exploration of the Arctic and Antarctica, the first flights across the Atlantic and over the Pacific, the discovery of some of the, amazing places around the world as well. We don't just arbitrarily say, hey, we're going to go and try this out. No, we plan it, we strategize, we build a team, we build resources, we build our tool as well. So we want to make sure that we have all those pieces in place. So it's really important that we know the difference and ask yourself, what are you doing here? Are you just observing rather and seeing, or are you discovering and doing as well? And that's the huge difference between safari and expedition. And what does it really typically start with? Starts with a roadmap, right? You're not going to get anywhere if you don't actually know what those fundamental pieces are at the beginning before you actually get there. So I like to use this triangular model, and I'm going to show you how it evolves into this whole piece of what I call a stratahedron as well. It's a 3D business model that you can use. But first, we have to kind of go back to basics. So step number one is really looking at, what's your call to action, your promise. All right, what is your ultimate call to action? What is your promise? So on this step in the worksheets, again, if you don't have the worksheets, just write strategy roadmap in the comments, and I'll send the worksheets to you so you can actually print them out and go through it yourself as well on your own time. That's what we want to look at. Okay, so what is that specific destination? What is that objective that we want to do? What is that ultimate call to action, right, that we want to be able to provide to our audience, to our customers, and that sort of thing? So write that in the box here. Sometimes these do take a little while to kind of extract as well. So if you can't put it in right now, then just please follow along, and we'll get to that coming up as well. But that's where we need to start, right? Where is that goal? Start with the end in mind. What is it that we actually want to do to be able to produce this? Now we need to look at, okay, well, what's kind of getting in the way? And fundamentally, with this model, it's obstacles that are getting in the way. And I'm going to go into these on the next slide as well. But obstacle one is getting in the way, and we're going to be able to identify that and show you exactly what it is for each of your situations. And then to overcome that, okay, the fix. What is the fix going to be? And then we do this 3 times, because typically there's a lot in triangles or shaped in threes. We've got to make sure that it matches. So then we go into obstacle 2, and how do we overcome that with fix number 2, and then we go into obstacle number 3, and how do we overcome that with fix number 3. So the message here on this one is to get to your ultimate call to action, your promise, right? Your ultimate value that you're providing to your audience. That's key here in being able to do that as well. So how does this break down in terms of this specific model? And this is going to be sort of the example that I'm using to show you, okay, this is some of the challenges that we have in place as well, and this is how we need to overcome them. So the first one is looking at the overcoming problem is the lack of traction. Okay, and that can be subject to a whole bunch of different things, but based on fractured positioning within your ideal audience, and it feels like you're kind of stuck and you're sticking and you're not kind of able to move forward as well. So it's really important that you kind of look at what is causing that lack of traction in what you're doing. And a lot of times it can just be having a simple journey map, having a simple strategy to understand what it is that you need to accomplish. So what's getting in the way? It's a fractured strategy and execution. Then if we look at the second item here, the main problem is not targeting the right people at the right time. And what we're able to find out here is that there's still friction in your progress in finding and targeting your audience. You're not being able to sort of find and create that uncontested market space. You're simply not in front of the right audience at the right time with the right data and the right tools. So there's going to be a pathway that we can actually explore for that part as well. And then finally, the third problem is there's no trust with your ideal audience. And this can seem like it's fragmented in your messaging and your delivery as well. You may not have a cohesive story. You may not have, an attractive or emotional offers. You may not have inviting and engaging environment as well. So that's what we want to look at here is what is it that we can overcome? So these are the obstacles that we all encounter in developing sort of that online business, that online strategy as well. Lack of traction, not targeting the right people at the right time, and no trust with your ideal audience as well. So if we then move forward, okay, well, great, that's fine, but what is it specifically for you, right? So on this spreadsheet, on this worksheet, I'd love you if you could just take a few seconds to write in, what's not sticking for you, where's the traction, right? For part B, who's missing the messaging and why? And then for part C, how are you building trust and what's kind of breaking that trust as well? That's really important to be able to see what's going on and how that's happening as well. So again, start with your ultimate call to action. Make sure you fill that in, and then identify what is slowing you down, rather, what's holding you back as well. And that will give you a really good indication of what you need to do next to move forward as well. And that's where we're going to move to next. And this is the whole sort of roadmap model that I'm going to be using as well. And obviously, we don't have time to get into this, so don't worry too much. But fundamentally, we have 9 specific steps. So we have to do our fix number 1, our fix number 2, and our fix number 3. If we can go through them. So the problem number 1 was the lack of traction in what you're doing, what you create, design, and deliver online. And how we want to fix that is through persuasive and powerful positioning. Okay, and the way we're able to create persuasive and powerful positioning, well, quite easy, right? We create an amazing customer journey transformation. We create an irresistible value and monetization, making sure we understand how each of these steps go and how we can actually use it for business. And then we want to look at unlocking expertise in our zone of genius as well. So that's how we overcome that first problem of lack of traction. We create persuasive and powerful positioning. And those are then the 3 steps that we're able to move forward quickly to be able to overcome that as well. With problem number 2, not targeting the right people at the right time, how do we fix that? Well, through what I call tenacious targeting. And how do we actually do that specifically is we need 3 things for that. As well, we need magnetic measurement to be able to decide with data. Right? We need to know what people are doing and how they're doing it. We also need to have a precision digital toolkit and tech stack, so our technology is capable and understands the audience journey as well. And we also need to have omnipresent on-demand automations and funnels as well. So we need to make sure that we have these pieces in place that we can target the right people at the right time as well. So it's very key to be able to have that. And then overcoming the third problem of no trust with your ideal audience, how do we actually fix that? We fix that with creating connected and creating clients as well. And what are the specific steps we need to take into account there? Well, the first one is creating an immersive and enchanting digital storytelling experiences. And this is part of what we call your ascending transaction model, your ATM, making sure that we elevate that story over the longer term as well. We also want to look at consistent, tantalizing, attractive, and emotional offers, lead flow, and sales as part of that. So making sure that we have something that's attractive, we're creating those emotional offers that actually connect with our audience as well. And then I did actually say these in reverse, so it doesn't matter too much which order you go in. But the third one here is alluring, inviting, and engaging environment of campaigns and content as well. So making sure that we're using our digital assets, making sure that we're utilizing these pieces that are really important. So we can see the specific 9 steps that we need to be able to take over time to develop this roadmap. And so how do we actually break it down next? Well, all we need to do is take a look at those 3 segments, right? And then each of the specific activity as well. So this is another worksheet in terms of how to put this together. So designing a strategy roadmap, just take some time on this worksheet to be able to identify quickly what this means. So each one of these corresponds, each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those correspond to each of these pieces of the model as well. So you'll be able to quickly add those in. So how do you make your customer journey feel harmonized, right? Fill that in. How do you make your sales process feel methodical? Fill that in, and that sort of thing. So it really gives you a firm foundation of what's important for your business and what you can actually use and how you can use it as well. So once you have those pieces, then we basically want to build it into a roadmap. And the transformation from idea to roadmap is actually remarkably easy. Okay, we take all these ideas and we take them and put them into a specific row or a specific order rather. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Previously we had all of these 9 individual components, which came from these 9 points as well. So can you see how it sort of flows together? We have these 9 specific activities. We convert these into what's really important for my business, for my roadmap, for that step. And then we actually put it into a linear model in terms of a step-by-step function. So we know what to do next. We know where to start. We know how to kind of capture that information that's important at that specific time and move forward. So we can use it as a literal roadmap for our business if we're able to identify what each one of these is for you and for your business as well. So it's really important to get that right. That's step number 4. What does your roadmap look like? Again, just transferring your ideas over from those 9 components, rather. I'll go back a step here. From these 9 components here, how you identified those, and then into your actual tangible roadmap. And there's another tool that I've got, that I have rather, that I'll hopefully be able to show you coming up, but that will be sort of the main ones for now. So what do we want to do next is we want to take the roadmap and we want to, again, transform it into something that's quite tangible and touchy and feeling. We can see it and we can understand it and we can feel it and we can see how it connects and that sort of thing. And the way you do that is through just this simple template, rather. Basically put all your roadmap pieces in place onto this template. And it can be a simple one-word answer or a simple phrase. And again, map them out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that creates your business roadmap. You start with your ultimate call to action, your promise in the middle, and then you can connect all these different pieces of your roadmap as well. So pretty easy to do, pretty simple. If you really wanted to give it a go, again, in the worksheets that you can get, here's a blank template as well. And what you do then is it prints it out, right? You print it out on your printer, and then you cut it out so that it's the shape, and don't cut out the tabs. Make sure you keep the tabs, and then you simply fold it into the triangular, the tetrahedron shape as well. So that gives you a business model at the tip of your fingers that you can hold, you can see, you can understand how these pieces interact and how each one plays and integrates with each other one as well. So it's a really quick and easy visual tool that, again, you can touch and feel and show and see into something as easy as a three-dimensional object like this. So it's a great little tool. It's not going to disappear. It sticks around. It can stick on your backboard even, and you can use it any way you want as well. So let's quickly wrap up then. We're just about finished. These are the 3 steps, the 4, or rather 6 steps that you can do to create your own business 3D model as well. So if that's something that might work, there's actually a creator that an online app that you're able to use, creator.stratahedron.digital, and that allows you to be able to put these pieces together in terms of what is important. So it's quite simple, it's automated, and then it becomes, instead of writing it down, you can actually put it into the model itself and create that also. So let's wrap up here. To fundamentally understand your strategy model of your business, you must begin by reorientating your strategic focus from competitors to alternatives and from customer to non-customers as well. So what I'm here today to do is help you shift that thinking, right, which is really important as well. If you wanted to sort of get in touch or book a digital Pathfinder session with me to kind of help you see how you can use these pieces, then feel free to grab a quick meeting as well, and I'll help you. I'll walk you through your specific model that you can create and how you can create it specifically for you. So let's just to finally wrap up, just a few final things that I want to get on the way. So what we want to do really is fundamentally with this is visually organize your strategy and your next steps, optimize for what is really important now and what will be important coming up, create a structure for your brain to see, compartmentalize what you're good at and how you deliver your value, shows you exactly where your value lies and answers the how, what, and leads with the why as well, right? So it's really important that we are able to do that. So you're able to design at the end of the day from that roadmap strategy, from that simple strategy, your roadmap, you can create a map like that that fits in the palm of your hand that you can then use, like I said, every day to see where am I along my roadmap, where am I along my strategy as well. So if you'd like a copy of the worksheets, please comment roadmap in the comments section as well, and I'll get those to you right away. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the strategy sprint video. If you found it helpful, please like it and would love it if you could share it as well down the road. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you online.